सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna Hare
Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna
Krishna Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram
Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Shri Shri Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Radhe Shyam Jaya Radhe Shyam Jaya Radhe Shyam Jaya Radhe Shyam Radhe Shyam Jaya 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 Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Gurudev Shri Guru Nitai Gaur Premanande Srila Prabhupada ki Ananda Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki Nitai Gaur Premanande
और लोग आगे बाकी
Yes. RSVP almost 80 plus RSVP.
अच्छा ओके हाँ
So we are coming for
अच्छा कोई और कीर्तन करे फिर थोड़ा समय के लिए ठीक है
अच्छा आप सुन करोगे हम आते करेंगे
आइए बैठिए माता जी
कृष्णपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूताले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Gaur Pramanande, Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you so much for coming in the second. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you so much for coming today afternoon for this second session of the series, The Heart of Sadhana Bhakti. Jai Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maiya ki Jai. I'm not sure, did we communicate wrong? 11 a.m. or something? Because today's devotee is very late.
That's the Indian standard time for me.
But generally it doesn't get so late. So we have to do something about this.
That's our culture, yes. We need to work on it.
Yeah, this is unfortunate. But anyway, we'll discuss this after the program. Yeah.
Definitely work on it.
But anyway, thank you so much. So probably you can come forward so that later devotees will come, they can sit there, otherwise they'll be interrupted in between. इसको थोड़ा आगे कर, इसको थोड़ा आगे कर, छोटा हो जाएगा ना? हाँ? Is it clear या नहीं तो पर्दा डालना है क्या? पर्दा डाल दीजिए. ठीक हो जाएगा.
अभी कनेक्शन चला गया, अभी तक तो था. No, this is good. This is good. हाँ. उसका क्लैरिटी यही है ना मैक्सिमम, उसका कुछ वो क्लैरिटी वाला. हाँ देख. हाँ बस ठीक है. हाँ करताल है. जय राधा माधव. शुरू करते हैं. ठीक है. हरे कृष्णा. Thank you, dear devotees, for kindly assembling here once again this wonderful morning. I am very grateful to each and every one of you that you kindly took out your time and you assembled here. Thank you so much once again to all the wonderful devotees who are part of the temple management and who have organized this particular series of talks And my special thanks also to Ishwar Gaurang Prabhu, Sriji Priya Mataji for kindly hosting me. And thank you so much to Param Karuna Prabhu, Damodar Leela Mataji for kindly being with myself during this journey. Dear devotees, we are continuing from where we left off. I'll perform Mangala Charan, auspicious invocations, then I'll begin speaking something. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Soyam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swabhadandigam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratyushe Namah. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Nitai Gaur Premanande. So thank you dear devotees for kindly being present here. It is always a great joy to have Sahriday. Sahriday means like-minded devotees, and it is the like-minded devotees such as all of you who make every event successful. Without the presence of like-minded devotees, it is very difficult for me to attain success in any particular program or event. Srila Rupa Goswami, he composes a verse specifically for his like-minded audience. So this verse is dedicated to all of you, dear devotees. Wonderful verse that Sri Rupa Goswami composes in the Vidagdha Madhav Natakam. I will sing it. Please sing after me. Udasatam nam rasana bhigya Kratau tavami rasikah spuranti Krame lakai kamam upekshitepi Pika sukham yanti param rasale. Sri Rupa Goswami knows that there are many people in the world who are not like-minded to him. There are many people who are not like-minded. Why? Because they don't like the concept of Bhakti Ras. They don't like these discussions about Shri Shri Radha Krishna. They don't like to talk about the Tattva that has been given in the Bhagavatam, etc. So Sri Rupa Goswami says, Udasatam nama. Those people who are not like-minded to me, Udasatam, let them happily ignore me. Why? Rasa anabhigya. Because they are not aware of the beauty of Bhakti Ras. They are not aware of the beauty of Shri Krishna Smaranam. But Kritau, Tavami Rasikaha Spuranti. But Rasika, those who are like-minded devotees, Vaishnavas, Rasiks, they will definitely take great pleasure. And then he gives an example. Kramelakai. Kramelak in English has become similar sounded camel. So what is known in Sanskrit as Kramelak, in English is known as what? Camel. So Kramelakai kamam upekshitepi. The camel can happily ignore the mango fruit. Does the camel eat mango fruits? But pika sukham yanti. But the cuckoos, they happily drink. Param rasale. So does it reduce the value of the mango fruit that the camel doesn't eat the mango fruit? No. So dear devotees, Sri Rupa Goswami says these topics are such that only the Vaishnavas will be able to appreciate these topics. He is not meant for the non-Vaishnavas. All of you are Rasikas or Sahriday, like-minded. Therefore, Sri Rupa Goswami dedicates such verses to like-minded audience who have the capacity, who have the caliber to understand what is being spoken. So here is the translation. Prabhu, kindly read the translation.
Those who are averse to the Bhakti Rasa can happily show indifference towards it, while those who are expert in it will certainly always dive deep. The cuckoos relish ripe mangoes on the trees, whereas the camels prefer to avoid them and eat thorny bushes instead.
Yes. So dear devotees, this is what Srila Rupa Goswami is saying. See, this is summer season, mango season, It is the king of all the fruits. And there is one class of birds which relishes mango fruits. Which is that bird, dear devotees? Cuckoos. You can see cuckoos relishing the mango fruits. And this is the glory of the cuckoos. But there is one particular animal which doesn't like mango fruits. And which animal is that? Camel. So this does not reduce the value of the mango fruit. The topic being discussed itself is very elevated. Please try to understand. And therefore audience such as all of you are most suitable audience for discussing it. Now please tell me, can I go anywhere else in the world with a non-Vaishnava audience and speak about this topic, about Smaran? It's not easily possible that I can speak. I can only speak in a devotee audience. So dear devotees, all of you are compared by Sri Rupa Goswami to those cuckoos. That you have the taste for such topics. Therefore you are present here today. I am very thankful to each and every one of you. Acha, camel also enjoys rasa, but that rasa is different. Camel chews on the thorn, and when he chews on the thorn, some ras comes out. Which ras comes out, dear devotee? His own blood, and he calls that rasa. So there are some individuals, what Sri Rupa Goswami is saying is, there are some individuals who have nothing to do with Smaranam and Bhakti Ras. All they are focusing upon is give up this world, get rid of this world, mukti and vairagya. I hope you are able to understand. Develop renunciation, get rid of this world. And there is no consideration of prema in them. Gradually they become so dry-hearted that they are unable to relish Bhakti Ras. Then the only ras they can relish is spitting on the material world. And that is compared by Sri Rupa Goswami to a camel chewing the thorns and enjoying his own blood. So such people start taking happiness in giving suffering to their body. I hope you are able to understand. So this is why Rupa Goswami is making that comparison. That there are people who take pleasure in renouncing the material world and that becomes their pleasure. They equate that to advancement. It may be advancement on the path of Jnana Yoga, impersonal achievement, but on the path of Bhakti Yoga, actual advancement is to relish Bhakti Ras. Actual advancement is to perform Shri Krishna Smaranam. So Sri Rupa Goswami wants us to have this particular path because it is Susukham Kartum Avyayam. Susukham Kartum Avyayam means in the Gita Bhagavan has said you shall have to perform it very joyously. There should be no unhappiness on this path. Unfortunately, sometimes due to our incorrect attitude, this Susukham, very happy path, we make Kudukham, we make very difficult this path of Bhakti Yoga. In fact, it is a very easy to execute path if we have the proper attitude. We will begin by a statement by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada says something in a purport to Chaitanya Charitamritam. Kindly read, Prabhu, what Srila Prabhupada says.
there are many regulative principles. There are many regulative principles in the Shastras and directions given by the spiritual master. These regulative principles should act as the servants of the basic principle, and that is, one should always remember Krishna and never forget him.
Yes, yesterday Prabhu had asked this question. I was answering this question, that at the heart of all the limbs of sadhana bhakti is the limb of smarana. Now this is reinforcement of the same principle. That Prabhupada says there are many regulative principles in the Shastra, many directions are given, but all those principles are servants, and Prabhupada uses the term servant. Sri Rupa Goswami also uses the term servant. They are servants of two principles. What are the two principles? Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. In the commentary to this verse, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna, Sri Jiva Goswami asks a question. He says, you could have simply said, always remember Krishna. Doesn't it automatically equal never forget Krishna? I hope you are able to understand. If you say always remember Krishna, is there a separate need of saying never forget Krishna? Please tell me. No, there is no separate need, because once you are following always remember Krishna, you are automatically following never forget Krishna. So why has Srila Rupa Goswami has written Smartavya Satatam Vishnur, always remember Krishna, Vismartavya na Jatuchit, and never forget Krishna? Why did Sri Rupa Goswami write the same thing positively and negatively? So Sri Jiva Goswami explains in the commentary by using some technical language. I'll explain in easy words, dear devotees. I'll give an analogy. Let's say there is a school teacher who comes in a classroom and says, tomorrow is the most important day of the entire year. It is annual function tomorrow. Tomorrow everybody should be present. Tomorrow nobody should remain absent. So student will say, you just say tomorrow everybody should remain present. Why do you want to say tomorrow nobody remain absent? So the indication is this. Tomorrow everybody should remain present, because those who remain present, they will get some extra grace marks or some extra favor from the school. And tomorrow nobody better remain absent. Otherwise, there will be negative consequences. I hope you are able to understand. So, Sri Jiva Goswami says, always remember Krishna, because Sri Rupa Goswami wants to indicate by always remembering Krishna, all auspiciousness will come to you. And never forget Krishna is the warning, because by forgetting Krishna, all sadhana bhakti will become fruitless, as it was specified yesterday. So the same principle spoken through Anvay and Vyatirek. Anvay is through positive reinforcement, Vyatirek is through negative reinforcement. That is the reason why the same fact has been spoken positively and negatively. So I hope we are able to understand what Srila Prabhupada is saying here. Now this was the statement, dear devotees. Please, let's sing once again. Smartavya satatam Vishnu Vismartavyo na jatuche Sarve vidhi nishedhasyo Etayoreva kinkara. So Prabhu, you can kindly read the translation.
Translation. Vishnu should always be remembered favorably and never be forgotten. All other rules and regulations are servant of these two essential principles.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So dear devotees, it's the same thing that Srila Prabhupada was saying. And this is the original. Where did Prabhupada get his inspiration from? This is the original verse from Bhakti Rasamrita. In bracket I have added favorably. It is I who has added that. Sri Rupa Goswami did not write favorably in the original. I added it because Kamsa also remembered Krishna constantly. But should we remember Krishna like Kamsa remembered? Or should we remember Krishna like Sudama remembered? How should we remember Krishna? Like Sudama. So therefore there is a need to add something in the bracket. What is that word? Favorably. And that is Sri Rupa Goswami has already said, Anukulyana Krishna Anushilanam. Whenever you remember, you should do Anukul. And what is the meaning of Anukul, dear devotees? Favorably. So that principle is running throughout the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. This is the principle. Same point positively and negatively has been spoken. Now dear devotees, in the first line there is one verse, Satatam. What is the meaning of Satatam? Always. So always means 24 into 7 into 365. So that's big problem, because when I sleep at night, I break this condition. When I sleep at night, I have no control over what thoughts are coming in my mind. So how can I follow this particular condition, Satatam, always remember Krishna? So in commentary to this, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur commenting on this verse, these are the exact words of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So please repeat after me. Satatam prati aham natu pratikshanam tasya asadhyatvena. So Satatam means prati aham. Prati aham means regularly, every day. Does not mean pratikshanam. Does not mean every moment. Because tasya asadhyatvena, it is impossible for the practicing devotee to fulfill this requirement. I hope you are able to understand. So, in Hindi, sometimes we may say, so you may ask a student, do you go to school? School जाते हो क्या? हाँ, मैं तो सतत school जाता हूँ, है ना? I constantly go to school. Does it mean that he is 24 hours in the school, or does it mean he daily goes to school? Daily goes to school. So that is the meaning that here. So Satatam means at least once a day. I hope you are able to understand. At least. I am not saying at most. At least once a day you should remember Krishna favorably. You are living up to the condition of the Acharya. Now please raise your hands. How many of us now can fulfill the condition of Sri Rupa? So nice the Acharyas are. They made it approachable for us. See, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur could have made it like hard and like renunciation, like give up everything and remember 24 hours. If you don't remember, your life is a failure. I hope you are able to understand. It's so easy to stand on a lofty platform and give lofty instruction to other. That Acharya is merciful who brings the instruction to our level of advancement. So this is wonderful mercy shown by Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in commentary to the same verse. This shows the rasik nature, the merciful nature of the Acharya, that they understand the problems that sadhakas are facing day to day life. So they make the verse possible for the sadhaka.
Even though themselves are at the level.
They are in the level of prema, and sometimes on Ekadashi, all the great devotees, they do 24-hour kirtan. So actually they end up fulfilling that condition. So on that particular day, they end up fulfilling that condition. Smartavya, literally they end up fulfilling that condition. But he also knows that as long as you are in a sadhak body, practicing body, sometimes you have to take rest. And when you take rest, especially, you may go in deep sleep. That is called sushupti. Even Acharya may go in sushupti. Sushupti means deep sleep where not even dreams are there. So when not even dreams are there, there is no motion in the mind. Obviously that condition cannot be followed, Satatam. So Satatam has been put in the proper context. What is the proper context? At least how many times in a day we should remember Krishna? At least how many times? Once. Not at most. At least once a day you remember Krishna favorably. So dear devotees, this is the condition. Now how many of us would like to understand from Shastra how to remember Krishna every day? Smaran for everybody, dear devotees, because we have japa for everybody, we have kirtan for everybody. There should be smaran for everybody. So let's understand how to perform smaran for everybody. Even new devotee. It is not required, because sometimes people say after 20-30 years you do this. Don't do right now. No. For new devotee, for somebody who just joined the movement, how to perform smaran daily, every single day, dear devotees. This is very simple and easy technique given by the previous acharyas. I am specifying from the Hari Bhakti Vilas what Sri Sanatan Goswami says, how smaran should be performed daily by everyone. Sri Sanatan Goswami in Hari Bhakti Vilas. Please sing after me. Brahme muhurta utthaya Krishna Krishna iti kirtayan Athechan paramam shuddhim Murtni dhyatva guruh padau Stutva cha kirtayan Krishnam Smarams chaitat udiraye. So Sri Sanatan Goswami says, Brahme muhurte utthaya. Waking up in which muhurta, dear devotees? Brahma muhurta. Ideal is that you wake up in which muhurta? Brahma muhurta. Now many times devotees find difficult to wake up at Brahma muhurta. Why? Because Brahma muhurta doesn't begin, the practice of waking up at Brahma muhurta doesn't begin at 3:30, it begins on previous day. So sleep early, dear devotees. If you want to wake up early, what is the best way of waking up early, dear devotees? Sleep early. You sleep early. I have seen in my village, in my childhood, we used to go, there was no electricity. Electricity had not reached our village. And there was one bulb which used to hang on the electric pole. That was the electricity. There was no private electric connection inside the home. Once it is 6:30, it is dark at night. What to do? You can't even eat anything. Can't even see what is there on the plate. What will you do? Go to sleep. Now imagine, dear devotees, imagine all of you going to sleep at 7 o'clock in the evening. बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा ना. नहीं, it's a big change in our lifestyle, sleeping at 7 o'clock in the evening. Dear devotees, if we go to sleep at 7 o'clock in the evening, what time will we get up? So, dear devotees, once again, Brahme muhurta uthaya. This is how you wake up at Brahma muhurta. It is not austerity to wake up at Brahma muhurta. It is just logical time of sleeping. I hope you are able to understand. You sleep 7 hours, no problem. You sleep 8 hours, no problem. You sleep at proper time according to village time. Then you can wake up at Brahma muhurta. And sometimes people say, oh, he wakes up for 30 years, he has woken up at 3:30 in the morning. If you would go to my village and tell my grandfather would say, what about that? Every day I am waking up at 2 o'clock. Why? Because I am sleeping at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, dear devotees. I hope you are able to understand. So, Brahma muhurta uthaya, Krishna Krishna iti kirtan. Acha, as soon as you wake up in Brahma muhurta, the first thing is kirtan, dear devotees. See here. The verse is speaking about Smaran, but the first thing after waking up, what is Sri Sanatana Goswami saying? Krishna Krishna iti kirtan. So first thing after waking up, dear devotees, we have to sing, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us how to sing. Please sing along with me. Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Pahi Mam Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rakshama. You woke up and directly said, Are the toothbrush, brushing teeth, washing mouth, no, nothing doing. First thing, dear devotees, Brahme Muhurte Uthaya. First thing in the morning before you brush your teeth, what do? Krishna Krishneti Kirtayan. The most important purificatory process in the early morning is not exactly brushing your teeth. The most important purificatory process early in the morning is to chant whose name? Krishna's name. Then he says, Atha icchan paramam shuddhim. Now, if you desire the supreme purification, because this is initial purification, Krishna 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 hai. Now if you desire paramam shuddhim, supreme purification, murdhni dhyatva guroh padav. In your mind you think of the Guru's feet on your head. Devotees. And stutva cha kirtayan Krishnam. This way, by glorifying Krishna, smarams cha, and then remember Shri Krishna by singing favorable verses from Shastra. And you select those verses that are given in Shastra which are beneficial for your smaran. You select those verses. And in this way, perform Kirtan and Smaran simultaneously. Like I was saying to Prabhu yesterday, Kirtan and Smaran nourish each other. So, Kirtan should lead to what, dear devotees? Smaran. Smaran should lead to what? Kirtan. In this way, they are actually one process. They are not two separate processes. But some devotees are more inclined to Kirtan, some devotees are more inclined to Smaran. No problem. So, Vasana, we will see according to our own taste. Here is the translation. Kindly read, Prabhuji.
After waking in Brahma Muhurta and performing Kirtanam of Krishna Nam, then desiring the highest purification, one should meditate on the 2 feet of Guru placed on one's head. Then after glorifying Krishna, one should perform smarana, remembrance of Krishna, and then utter various glorifications of Krishna from Shastra.
So which glorification? So Sanatana Goswami says there is one verse, Jayati Janani Vaso. Some of you might have heard this verse in the 10th canto. So you can chant that verse or any other verses of remembrance which you find favorable for your smaran, every daily morning smaran. Now you may say this is Hari Bhakti Vilas and it is for advanced Vaishnava, and I don't know which Prabhupada taught us this or not. See, one thing is there, one Shastra tells us we should accept as it is. But still, if you ask me where Prabhupada taught this or not, here is a quote directly from Srila Prabhupada. This quote, Prabhu, kindly read what Prabhupada says.
Concerning Pratha Smriti, remembrance of the Lord in the morning, in the early morning hours known as Brahma Murta, one should get up and immediately chant the Hare Krishna mantra, or at least Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. In this way, one should remember Krishna. Some shlokas or prayers should also be chanted. By chanting, one immediately becomes auspicious and transcendental to the infection of material qualities. Actually, one has to chant and remember Lord Krishna 24 hours daily, or as much as possible.
Smartavya satatam Vishnur vismartavyo na jatuche. See here, dear devotees, same principle of Hari Bhakti Vilas given in a purport by Srila Prabhupada. Now please tell me, dear devotees, tomorrow morning after waking up, how many of us will chant Krishna, Krishna, Krishna? Wonderful. So don't forget this thing. When you wake up, sometimes we wake up in the middle of the night because we have to go to the restroom. As soon as, even if you wake up in the middle of the night, what is the best thing to do, dear devotees? Krishna, 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 Krishna. This is, dear devotees, basic smaran which everybody can do. I am not here to tell you about the advanced smaran. I am not. At least if you don't want to do some more smaran, at least you can begin with this particular smaran. This smaran is given not only in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, but it is also directly recommended by Srila Prabhupada, exactly as it is given in the Hari Bhakti Vilas. There is no difference between what Sri Sanatana Goswami wrote in the Hari Bhakti Vilas and what Srila Prabhupada is writing here. You can see the exact similarity between two things. And the reason why I am specifying this is very important, because there are many individuals who will say first you perform japa and kirtan for 30 years, then you will become eligible for smaran. I hope you are able to understand. Sometimes people may say, first you perform japa and kirtan for 30 years, 20 years, after purification, then only you perform smaran. But purification is right here, dear devotees. You see in the verse, previous verse, that Sri Sanatana Goswami says, Krishna, Krishna iti kirtan. In the morning you perform kirtan. And by that kirtan you get the purification to immediately perform what? Smaran. It's not that Sanatana Goswami says you perform this Krishna Krishna for 30 years and then you do smaran. Initial quick cleansing of the mind, because the mind may have some disturbances from the previous day. So chant Krishna Krishna Nam and immediate purification is there, and then you begin your daily smaran. This is what the Acharyas recommend. And this is what also Srila Prabhupada said. By chanting, one immediately becomes auspicious and transcendental to the infection of material quality. Same thing Srila Prabhupada is saying. So dear devotees, please tell me, can you perform daily smaran? Yes or no? Yes. And do you become cleansed of material infection by simply chanting Krishna Krishna in the morning? Yes. So this is the simple, pristine conclusion given by the previous Acharyas and Srila Prabhupada. This is basic smaran which everybody should be able to perform. Now, question arises, why only smaran, why not any other limb, kirtan or any other limb? Somebody may say, I like Shravan. Somebody may say, I like kirtan. Somebody may say, I like another limb of bhakti. Why smaran? This is not a forcible injunction. It's a recommendation. I hope you are able to understand. Is it a forcible injunction or a recommendation? Recommendation. When you give it as a recommendation, it becomes easy for everybody to digest. Alright? So this is a recommendation. Now what if you like other limbs of bhakti? So Sri Rupa Goswami says this thing in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. He says actually there are millions of limbs of bhakti. Hari Bhakti Vilasesya भक्तेरंगानि लक्षशः किंतु तानि प्रसिद्धानि निर्दिश्यन्ते यथामति. Hari Bhakti Vilas. He is giving the name of a literature. You might have heard which literature? Hari Bhakti Vilas of Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Gopal Bhatt Goswami. Asya Bhakter, this Bhakti has Angani, limbs. How many limbs? Lakshasha. How many limbs of Bhakti are there? Millions of limbs of Bhakti are there in Hari Bhakti Vilas. How many millions? I will give you example of millions of limbs. One limb of Bhakti is to follow Nirjala Ekadashi. Another limb of Bhakti is to follow Safala Ekadashi. Another limb of Bhakti is to follow Rama Ekadashi. I hope you are able to understand. So in this way, all the Ekadashis are also one limb. And then another limb is to offer a lamp in Kartik. So many millions of limbs of Bhakti are mentioned in which literature? Hari Bhakti Vilas. Kintu, but Tani Prasiddhani Nirdishyante. Out of all those millions of limbs, I am giving the most popular ones in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. And how many limbs of Bhakti did he end up giving in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu? 64. Yathamati, according to my intelligence, I am giving the most prominent ones amongst those millions of. So in actuality, how many limbs of Bhakti are there, dear devotees? Millions. Millions reduced to how much? 64 reduced to 9. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. 9 reduced to 5. Sadhu Sangha Naam Ki Bhagavad Shravan Mathura, and 5 reduces to 1. Always remember Krishna and never forget Krishna. I hope you are able to understand. This is how we should understand the statements of the Shastra. Now that 1 can increase again to 5. 5 can increase again to 9. 9 can increase again to 64. And 64 can again increase to millions. Alright, but the core of sadhan bhakti is that one instruction. Which instruction is that, dear devotees? Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. It is very proven very clearly in Shastra that Smaran is the heart of sadhan bhakti. And Smaran also sasanga, not anasanga Smaran. You know, I told yesterday what is anasanga and sasanga. Anybody knows what is anasanga? Without genuine attachment. And what is sasanga? With genuine attachment. So we should try as soon as possible to arrive at sasanga bhajan, not anasanga bhajan. Here is the translation. Please read what the translation says.
In the Hari Bhakti Vilas, millions of limbs of Bhakti have been described. However, in this literature, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, only the 64 prominent ones are being described according to my intelligence.
Yeah. So Sri Rupa Goswami says, I am describing according to my intelligence. Yathamati. According to my intelligence, I am describing. So this is what Sri Rupa Goswami has said. Now who will decide which limb should be done by whom and which limb should not be done by whom? Prabhu, your favorite limb of Bhakti? Prashad? Achha, Hare, it is one of the 64 limbs, huh? It is one of the 64. He is straight on the point, huh? You all are laughing, but he says, Swalpa punya vatam rajan vishwaso naiva jayate, huh? We are able to say, huh? Prashad. So he says, Prashad is the main limb of Bhakti, huh? So early morning after waking up before brushing his teeth, huh? No, don't do that, Prabhu. Early morning. So your favorite limb of Bhakti is to honor Prashad. And today we are very, wonderful home. This home we have Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra. Huh? We have Anand Bajar. Acha. So wonderful home. And what is the one thing that Jagannath Puri is famous for? Prasad. This is Jagannath Puri. You eat Prasad and you lie down and sleep. Wonderful. What more do you need? That's what I came for here, but they asked me to give a class. Otherwise, I was going to do the same because this is Jagannath Puri. I thought, what giving class? Eat Prasad and lie down and sleep. But no, dear devotees, my seva is Kirtan here. What seva am I performing here? Kirtan. This is Kirtanam. So, millions of limbs are there. You can't enforce your choice on somebody else. It's a very democratic country, Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Very democratic. You can vote for any party you want. So, where does Sri Rupa Goswami say? He says in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Right? Please repeat after me. Sa Bhakti Reka Mukhyanga Shritanaikangicathava. Yes, please read.
Bhakti can be executed by taking shelter of one primary limb or by taking shelter of multiple limbs.
But who will decide? Dear devotees, immediate next line he says, Swavasananusarena Nishthatah siddhikrit bhave.
Such bhakti executed in a dedicated manner according to one's innate tendencies leads to perfection.
Wonderful. So what is the deciding factor, dear devotees?
One's innate tendencies.
One's innate tendencies. And what is the Sanskrit term for that, dear devotees? Swa Vasana Anusarena. According to Swa Vasana. Now those who understand Hindi can understand I have translated this correctly. Swa Vasana Anusarena. According to your Vasana. What is Vasana? This is a very important question. You can dive as deep as you want into this. What is Vasana? I will tell you what is Vasana. Vasana is that which appears naturally tasteful to you because of the bhakti you have executed in previous lives. That is what is known as your Swa Vasana. Because this is not the first life, many of us may be executing bhakti. Many of us may have executed some Agyat Sukriti, some bhakti in previous lives. So that becomes our Vasana. And that becomes Swa Vasana. And for Prabhuji, what is Swa Vasana? Parshad. So, but Sri Rupa Goswami said one thing, but we should not take Ek Mukhya Anga out of the 9 limbs. Alright, dear devotees. So is Prashad one of the 9 limbs? No. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmaniva. It's not Sakhyam with A, it is Sakhyam. Alright, how do we pronounce it? Sakhyam. Sakhyam and Atma Nivedanam, dear devotees. So now I will restrict you to 9. Out of 9, how many? Which one is your favorite one? Bolo. Chant. What is Sanskrit term? Kirtanam. Acha. He likes Kirtanam. But you can recommend Kirtanam to others. Can you enforce Kirtanam upon others? Yes or no? No. Because if you enforce upon somebody else, is it their Vasana or your Vasana? Your Vasana. But Sri Rupa Goswami has said people should perform bhajan according to whose Vasana? Swa Vasana. Okay, so I'll tell you one short formula. You fulfill your vow of 16 rounds that you have given to your Guru. After that, you are free in remaining hours, whatever Vasana is there. You perform bhajan according to Swa Vasana. I hope you are able to understand. As long as you are fulfilling your vow that you have given to your Guru Janas, Swa Vasana Anusarana. Remaining time, you do bhajan according to Swa Vasana. Nishthatah siddhikrit bhavet. And then sometimes you may do some bhajan because the need is there. For example, sometimes in the temple there is need for seva. Your mind may be saying, no, my Swa Vasana is to perform Shravan. But the need is there, the temple requires something. So at that time you may make an exception and you can go and perform seva in the temple also. But when there is no other thing to do, I hope you are able to understand, when it is completely left up to you, then you have to perform bhajan according to whose Vasana? Swa Vasana Anusarena. Then Nishthatah. Do it nicely. Siddhikrit bhavet. This is the conclusion of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Now, dear devotees, Sri Rupa Goswami is so wonderful that even in Smaran he has given finer subdivisions. Smaran is not just remembrance for him. Even in chanting he has given finer subdivisions. So how many limbs of bhakti has Sri Rupa Goswami given in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? 64. Limb number 33, dear devotees, please repeat. What is limb number 33? Sankirtanam. And what is limb number 34, dear devotees? Japaha. So, dear devotees, limb number 33 is Kirtan, limb number 34 is Japa. How do we translate Kirtan in English? Chanting. How do we translate Japa in English? Chanting. Congregational chanting, alright. But the general translation of both of them goes as what? Chanting. There are finer details in the original terms. What is Sankirtan? Bahubir militva kirtanam. 3 or more people get together and they perform congregational chanting. That is called as what? Sankirtanam. What is japa? Mantrasya sulaghu uchcharo japa. Sri Rupa Goswami says, super soft utterance of a mantra for one's own self is known as what? Japa. So there is some minor differences between these two limbs, Sankirtan and Japa. Similarly, when it comes to Smaran, Sri Rupa Goswami gives two different limbs. Please repeat after me. Smriti, this is limb number 45. Smriti is another name is Smaran. Okay? And next, Dhyanam, this is limb number 46. So how do we translate Smriti? Remembrance. How will we translate Dhyanam? Remembrance. But there is a finer distinction. Dhyanam is more concentrated meditation. Smriti is general remembrance. So what I suggested for all of you, that you get up in the morning and do Krishna, Krishna, Krishna and remember Bhagwan, is it belonging to Smriti or is it belonging to Dhyanam? Smriti. So Smriti is for everybody. So this is what he is saying. And now Sri Rupa Goswami defines Smriti, Smarana. Here is the official definition of Smaran from our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Yatha katanchin manasa Sambandha smriti ruchyate. Yatha kathanchit. In Hindi bole, jaise kaise bhi. Yatha kathanchit. Jaise kaise bhi. Manasa sambandha, to connect your what? Mind to Krishna. Smriti is known as Smaran. Here is the translation, Prabhu. Please read.
Someone or other.
Somehow.
Somehow or other connecting to Krishna through the mind is known as Smriti, Smarana.
Now, please raise your hands. How many of you can perform this easily? Raise your hands. Just somehow or other, in the morning, remember Krishna. Congratulations, you have performed limb number 45. What is limb number 45? Smriti. Then you get trained under a guru, you get instruction from guru, you get detailed understanding of how to perform concentrated smaran. Then you are eligible for what, dear devotees? Dhyan. But at least begin with smaran. Smriti. Smriti is another term for what? Smaran. And then later after initiation you can ask your Gurujanas about how to perform Dhyan. But Smriti should never be discouraged for anybody. The reason why I am saying this is, many times even basic Smaran is discouraged. That, oh, don't try to think about Krishna. Just try to chant and thinking will come automatically. If it will come automatically, Rupa Goswami would have written here. So Sri Rupa Goswami is putting it as a separate limb because you have to execute it as a separate limb. And how do you execute it? As I said, in the morning after waking up, what do you have to chant? Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. That Krishna, Krishna, Krishna is for initial purification. And after initial purification, you can perform which limb of bhakti, dear devotees? Smaran or Smriti. That's all. It's very simple. Now, what is Dhyanam? What is the more detailed understanding of Dhyan? This is the official definition of Dhyanam. Please repeat after me. Dhyanam Rupa Guna Krida Sevade Sushtu Chintanam. Dhyanam, what is Dhyana? Sushtu Chintanam. Sushtu Chintanam is thorough contemplation of what? Of Rupa, Guna, Krida, Seva, Adi, etc. That is called as what? Dhyan. So please read, Prabhu, what is Dhyan?
Thorough contemplation upon the form, qualities, pastimes, service, etc. of Krishna is known as Dhyana, meditation.
So thorough contemplation. Now we can see the difference between Smaran and Dhyan, dear devotees. Smaran is casual remembrance and Dhyan is detailed remembrance. Sitting anywhere in the corner, if you can casually remember Krishna, you have performed Smaran. And then, if you have a dedicated process of remembering Krishna given by the Guru, that is called as what? Dhyan. And that Dhyan is further categorized by Sri Rupa Goswami in Rupa Dhyan, Guna Dhyan, Krida Dhyan, Seva Dhyan. All further subdivisions will be there in Dhyan. But Smaran is must. It is the heart of the life and air of all sadhan bhakti, this Smaranam. Like now, there is major doubt in the hearts of many individuals about Smaran, and today we will try to uproot that doubt. Prabhuji, you please take the mic and read the doubt that is there in the hearts of many individuals. Then I will ask how many people have this doubt.
What is the difference between genuine smarana or imagination?
How many of you have this doubt? Raise your hands. Oh, wonderful. Chalo. What is the difference between Smaran and imagination? Because somebody may say you are just imagining things and you are calling it Bhakti. What is the difference between Smaran and imagination? So for many decades, individuals have this doubt is not resolved. Dear devotees, what is being spoken here today? You please keep in your heart. This is coming from the previous acharyas. They have resolved this doubt. They will remove this thorn from the heart. So please keep this in your mind, because this is what will actually help us confidently perform Smaran. Now, I am giving the solution, but first I am asking another question. Usually I don't answer a question with a question, but here I am beginning the answer to that question with a question. Smaran is not the only limb of bhakti we perform. Japa is also one limb of bhakti. I may ask a similar question. What is the difference between uttering genuine naam and uttering empty syllables? I hope you are able to understand. How do I know that when I am putting my hand in the bead bag? You can see 3 people here who have put their hand in their bead bag. Okay. How do you know which one of them is performing japa and which one of them is just uttering the syllables? Third one. What criteria? I may put an allegation. Tomorrow I am sitting with Ishwar Gaurang Prabhu in the morning. He is chanting japa, I am chanting my japa. Hare, you are not performing japa. You are just uttering the akshar, syllable, empty syllable. It is material. There is no actual japa. How do I know whether somebody is performing japa or somebody is uttering just the syllables? The same question that we ask in Smaran. How do you know whether it is genuine Smaran or it is imagination? Can't I ask the same question in japa? Please tell me. Yes or no? Yes. Wonderful. Now I have answered a question with a question, but I have not resolved the doubt till now. I will not do justice until and unless I resolve the doubt. But the reason why I have put this doubt is because it's very important to understand that this doubt can be about any limb of bhakti. It's not about only Smaran. It can be about any limb of bhakti. How do you know that the Prashad cooked by somebody is really Prashad or not? Or is it ordinary food? How do you know? Is there any criteria for determining this? No. There is no criteria. And you can't give a certificate, mass scale certificate to people that we certify this person cooks only Prashad. You can't give. Tomorrow Krishna may decide on one day, I don't want to accept. That day, it will no longer be Prashad. That way it will remain what? Bhoga. So how do we know? This is a very important question. Now, I will ask you another question, dear devotees. And this is very important. How many of you recognize this wonderful Shri Vigraha? Shri Radha Madan Mohan in Jaipur, Karoli. And which deity is this, dear devotees? Radha Damodar in Shri Vrindavan. And which deity is this, dear devotees? Radha Madhav in Mayapur. Acha. Now tell me, dear devotees, do all deities look the same or do they look different? Which one of them is Krishna and which one is not Krishna? Hare Vah. All of them are Krishna. So Krishna looks 3 different ways. Huh? Oh wow, look at he's unlimited. Huh? Hare Prabhu, the person who carved the deity, when he sat down for carving the deity, he had some image in his mind. How do we know if this is the imagination of the person who made the deity or is it really Krishna? I hope you are able to understand. Huh? This may as well be the imagination of the person who carved the deity, you can say. How do you know that it is really Krishna? Oh, Shastra doesn't say that the nose should be carved like this.
Shastra says he is Sarvasya Prabhu.
Sarvasya Prabhu. Then carve a deity like this. That answer cannot be given because that answer is tending to Brahmavad. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Everything here is Brahman. So that answer cannot be. So dear devotees, please hear and now. This is not even a deity, this is a painting which was made under the guidance of Srila Prabhupada, a BBT painting. Now please tell me, is Krishna present in the painting? Yes or no? Yes. Yeah. If I take a photograph of this, will Krishna be present in that photograph? If I take a photo of the photo, will Krishna be present in that? Now, how is Bhagavan present in all of this? Now I am explaining, dear devotees, please hear very carefully. The reply to the doubt is just as the difference between uttering Naam and uttering empty syllables. You cannot give a certificate to somebody whether they are chanting Naam or they are chanting syllables. Similarly, you can't give a certificate to another person whether they are doing Smaran or they are doing imagination. I will tell you one very clear thing. I am asking us question. Is our mind material or spiritual? Everybody agrees? The mind is what in nature? Material. Our senses are what in nature? Material. Using material senses, you are uttering Bhagavan's name. Your tongue, dear devotees, is material in nature or spiritual in nature? Material. Using a material tongue, you are uttering Krishna's name. When you are using a tongue to utter Krishna's name, how will it be spiritual? So Sri Rupa Goswami answered that question, and very important question. The Siddhanta in this regard is as follows. Ata Shri Krishna Namadi Na Bhaved Grahyam Indriyai Sevon Mukhe Jihvadau Swayam Eva Spuratyadaha Atah Shri Krishna Nam Adi. Therefore the name of Krishna, the form of Krishna, pastimes of Krishna, na bhaved grahyam indriya. You cannot grasp using your material senses. So please answer in yes or no. Can you chant Krishna's name using your material senses? Yes. Rupa Goswami is saying na bhaved. You can't. Can you chant Krishna's name using your material?
Actually, Naam is spiritual, but they manifest in the material form so that we can access it.
Oh, wonderful. We will come to that. But first, basic question. Can you grasp Krishna's name using material senses? No. Say yes or no clearly. No. You cannot grasp Bhagavan's name using material senses. But he says, Seva unmukhe. When Bhagavan sees that the inclination of the devotee is Seva. What is the inclination of the devotee? Seva. Seva unmukhe. When the devotee is inclined to service, he jiva adav swayam eva spurati. Then the naam descends on the tongue of the devotee. The naam does not become material. The jiva is semi-spiritualized and naam descends on the tongue of the devotee. Now, please tell me, can naam descend on the tongue of the genuine devotee? Yes or no? Yes. Can form descend on the mind of the genuine devotee? Yes. I hope you are able to understand. This is the fundamental principle. When he thinks about Krishna, in his mind the image of Krishna may be slightly different. When I think of Krishna, the image of Krishna in my mind may be slightly different. Do both images have to be exactly the same? Just as all the deities we saw, do all the deities exactly have to be the same? But when they were installed Sevon Mukhe, with an inclination to perform what? Seva. Therefore Bhagavan becomes non-different from the deity and accepts Seva from the devotees, although all the deities are looking different from each other. I hope you are able to understand. This is the main thing Bhagavan is saying. Have you seen the very old deities of Krishna? Do they look very much like Krishna or do they look very crude? How do they look? Crude. Now our ISKCON temple deities, oh my goodness, they may like they are shining in Krishna like anything, the perfection. Look at the old deities. You will see in ancient times the deities that were there in the Sri Mayapur, in Prachin Mayapur, there is Narsingpalli. You see the deity of Narsingadev. So first time I saw, this is Narsingadev. So I was not, if this is Narsing. Yeah, it's very old deity. It doesn't look like Narsingadev, but yeah, but some form is resemblance is there to Narsingadev. Oh, wonderful. But why do we accept him as Narsingadev? the main indication is in the third line. What is that? Seva unmukhe. Bhagavan sees that the devotee has inclination for performing what? Seva. Bhagavan descends there and accepts seva from the devotee. Isn't it? Here is the translation. Prabhu, kindly read what is said in this particular regard.
The name, forms, etc. of Sri Krishna cannot be grasped by the ordinary senses. It is only when these senses, like tongue, etc., become inclined to genuine service that these names, forms, etc. of Sri Krishna manifest spontaneously on the ordinary senses.
Now we have a rational answer. Once again I am asking you, our senses are material or spiritual? Material. Shri Krishna's name and form is material or spiritual? Can a spiritual name and form be grasped by a material sense? No. But can a spiritual name and form voluntarily descend on a material sense organ? Yes. But there is a consideration. What is the consideration? It's given in the third line. What is the consideration? Seva unmukhe. They will check if the inclination, if you are unmukh, you know what is the meaning of unmukh? You are inclined for seva. Then they will descend on your respective sense organs. So dear devotees, once again the question, what is the difference between chanting Naam Akshar, empty syllables, and chanting genuine Naam? Answer is third line. What is the difference? Seva unmukhe. What is the difference between Smaran and imagination? Seva unmukhe. You cannot give a certificate to others because you don't know whether the other person is Seva unmukh or not. Only that person knows within their mind what their inclination is, and only Bhagavan knows within their heart what their inclination is. That is how Sri Rupa Goswami has described it here. Therefore, Srila Jiva Goswami commenting on this, he says, Shri Bhagavatah Swarupa Shakti Vritti Rupam. Bhakti is the Swarup Shakti function of Bhagavan. Swarup Shakti is material or spiritual, dear devotees? Ato aprakritam. Therefore, she is non-material. Bhakti is non-material. Api, still, Kayadi Vritti. What is Kaya, dear devotees? Body. She descends on the material functions of the body. Tadatmyena eva. Bhakti becomes one with the material functions of the body. Tatra tatra avirbhutam. And she becomes manifest on the material senses of the body. Iti gyayam. This should be known. Agre tu spashti karishyate. Ahead I will explain even more about this. Here is the translation. Please read this carefully, dear devotees. Please.
Bhakti is a function of Sarupa Shakti, internal potency of the Lord. Thus, she is completely non-material. Yet, one should know that she becomes non-different from the material functions of the body, mind, etc. In this way, transcendental bhakti descends on those respective mundane senses.
Yeah, but there is one consideration. Who remembers what consideration is that for her to descend? Seva unmukhe. Now, does it make sense? Rationally, everybody understands now? Okay, how? Bhakti Devi cannot be grasped by the mundane senses. She voluntarily descends on the senses of the individual who is Seva unmukh, who is inclined to performing Seva. Acha, he says, I will explain more about it. Do you want to dive one level deeper? So, one level deeper I am diving in so that you can dive unlimitedly deeper into this matter. One level deeper I am taking you. In the Sandarbha, Sri Jiva Goswami explains a wonderful principle. Please repeat after me. Atidesh. Atidesh. So, Atidesh is the principle of extension. I am explaining what is Atidesh here, and then we will understand how this whole thing works. Dear devotees, in Sanskrit language, this term Atidesh, what is the meaning of Atidesh? You take all the characteristics of one particular entity and you exactly copy it into another entity. That is known as what? Atidesh. Okay? For example, let's say, if I have to write a traffic manual for Phoenix, and I want to keep the rules exactly as the same in Denver. So I will just say, I will take all the rules of the traffic manual of Denver and I will do Atidesh. What is the meaning of Atidesh? Just copy it and I will say this is the traffic manual for Phoenix. So this principle of extension, by which all the qualities of one entity are exactly acquired by another entity. What is this principle known in Sanskrit as, dear devotees? Atidesh. Okay? I hope everybody understands. This is Atidesh. So, Sri Jiva Goswami says, please repeat after me. Laukika Bhagavan Niketasyapi Tadaveshan Nairgunyam Atidishyate. And you see the last term is Atidesh. What is the meaning of Atidesh? He says Laukika Bhagavan Niketa, even in a temple in the material world. Now dear devotees, the temple in the material world, he says there is complete presence of the spiritual world and Bhagavan, by which principle? Atidesh. So I will explain how. When a new temple is created, then you perform Pran Pratishtha of the deity. Are you performing Pran Pratishtha only of the deity or for the entire abode of the deity? Dear devotees, abode of the deity. Because if you don't perform Pran Pratishtha for the entire abode, deity is spiritual and the remaining abode will become what? Material. So you are performing Pran Pratishtha for the entire abode. So when you invoke the Vedic mantras and then you invite Bhagavan, you invite the entire dham, and then by the principle of Atidesh, even a temple in the material world becomes non-different from the spiritual world. I hope you are able to understand. Even a temple in the material world becomes non-different from spiritual world. By which principle, dear devotees? Atidesh. Now in the spiritual world, there is one personality in the center. Which personality is in the center in the spiritual world? Krishna. And in the temple, there is one personality in the center. Which personality is in the center? Deity. I hope you are able to understand. So all the qualities of Sri Krishna in the spiritual world are completely transferred to that one entity in the temple. Which entity in the temple? Deity. And so the deity in the temple becomes non-different from whom? Krishna. In which world? Spiritual world. And the temple becomes non-different from the entire spiritual world. By which principle? Atidesh. This is why the deity is non-different from Bhagavan. This principle is there, Atidesh. I hope you are able to understand. We know, we don't reject the fact that the deity is made of material elements. We are not saying that if it is made of spiritual elements, then our hand will not even be able to touch the deity. We are not irrational in that regard. We are completely aware that a deity of Bhagavan may be made of various material elements. But the deity is non-different from Bhagavan. By which principle? Atidesh. This is our rational understanding of the subject matter. Okay, and Bhagavatam also says that deities are made out of 8 substances. Please sing after me. Shaili darumai lauhi lepya lekhya cha saikati manomai manimai pratima ashta vidha smrita. So Prabhu, please read the translation of the verse.
The deity form of the Lord is said to appear in 8 varieties: stone, wood, metal, earth, paint, sand, the mind, or jewels.
7th one is what?
Mind.
Arey wah. The deity form of Lord can appear where? How do you know it is imagination or not? When seva is there, the form of the Lord in the spiritual world becomes non-different from the form within the mind. By which principle? Atidesh. By the principle of Atidesh, the form of Bhagavan in the spiritual world becomes non-different from the form of Bhagavan within the mind, because the form within the mind is one of the 8 deities specified in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Now please tell me, the remaining 7 substances are material or spiritual? Material. And the mind is also what? Material. But it is spiritualized by which process? Atidesh. And Atidesh occurs when the devotee has a specific attitude. Which attitude was specified by Sri Rupa? Seva unmukhe. When you are inclined to seva, when your intention is not to do some imagination or enjoyment, your inclination is seva. That time Bhagavan becomes non-different from the image within your mind, and how he thinks of Krishna may be different from how he thinks of Krishna. And that's why you see even the previous acharyas, some of them are saying Krishna is like a tamal tree, Some are saying he is like a blue sapphire. Some are saying he is like a rain cloud. I am thinking, how many Krishnas are? Does a blue sapphire look exactly the same as a rain cloud? No. So why are acharyas defining? Because when you define using the mind has certain limitations. But Bhagavan can become non-different from the image in your mind by the principle of Atidesh. If you have a particular inclination, which inclination is that? Seva, Unmukhe. I am making you repeat all because my deep desire is that nobody forgets this. It is my deep desire that nobody forgets this. I don't know, when these things will be spoken again. So please take it very seriously, because decades pass and devotees are struggling in their mind, how is the deity non-different from Krishna? And those answers don't come. This is the answer from the Sampradaya. Dear devotees, Atidesh is the principle behind all of this. And especially for us Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we may begin with Vaidhi Bhakti, but the goal is to get into the higher varieties of Bhakti, which is called as Rag Bhakti, Raganuga Bhakti. And for Raganuga Bhakti, the higher levels of Bhakti, Smaran is the most important limb. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in Rag Vartma Chandrika says, please repeat after me, Smaranasya Atra Raganugayam Mukhyatvam Ragasya Manodharmatvad. Smaranasya Raganugayam Mukhyatvam. In Raganuga Bhakti, which is the main limb, dear devotees? Smaran. Because Rag, spontaneous attachment, is a function of one limb. Which limb is that? Mind. Where do you experience attachment towards anybody? In which organ do you experience attachment towards anybody? The mind and the heart. So Smaran is a function of that. Smaran is the main limb in which Bhakti, dear devotees? Raganuga Bhakti. At the same time, he says, please repeat, Smaranasya Kirtanadhinatvam Avashyam Vaktavyameva. So in Kali Yuga especially, one should say that Smaran is always dependent on what? Kirtan. Because Smaran is enhanced by which limb, dear devotees? Kirtan. And Kirtan is enhanced by which limb, dear devotees? Smaran. In this way, both limbs go on enhancing each other. I could have skipped this statement below one, and I could have said just Smaran, but I know I have to do justice. I can't just say Smaran and just completely reject Kirtan. Which is the Yuga Dharma of Kali Yuga, dear devotees? Kirtan. Kirtan will facilitate, but Kirtan is for facilitating what, dear devotees? Smaran. And that Smaran will again impel you to perform what? Kirtan. Isn't it? So this is how it goes on. This is the proper understanding as given by the previous acharyas. I will pause my speech here, dear devotees. We understood many important things today. First and foremost, we understood that there are many limbs of bhakti. You can't dictate to others which limb of bhakti they should follow. Out of the 9 limbs of bhakti, they can select any one. According to what? According to Swa Vasana. According to their innate desire. And innate desire is coming from which life? Previous life. So you can't change that. Can you change my previous life? If you can change my previous life, you have the right to dictate to me. But if you can't change my previous life, then you cannot dictate to me. I hope you are able to understand. So Sri Rupa Goswami said these things. Swavasananu. And even if you try to dictate to somebody and in pressure they may say yes, will they actually be able to follow it with sasanga bhakti? No, they will not be able to. They will do it anasanga. Anasanga means without attachment they will do it. So this is what will happen. Acha. Next thing is, Smaran is the crux of all the limbs. Smartavya satatam, vismartavya jadu. Satatam is constant. Constant, does it mean 24 hours? No. What is the meaning of satatam? At least once a day. Now, can we perform at least once a day Smaran? Did Srila Prabhupada give us a technique? What is the technique? Early morning, get up and Krishna, Krishna, Krishna hai, and remember Sri Krishna and some favorite verses, whichever verses you like from the Bhagavatam. Remember Sri Krishna. Alright, this is basic Smaran for everybody. How many types of Smaran did Sri Rupa Goswami specify in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu? 2. What was Smaran and what was the second name? Smriti, and what was the second? Dhyan. Smriti is casual remembrance. All of us can do. Dhyan is detailed remembrance. After Diksha, Guru tells how to perform dhyan. Alright? Now, is smaran imagination? Isn't it? Very important. Is smaran imagination? Depends on the attitude of the person performing it. Similarly, is chanting just uttering syllables? It depends on the person's seva, inclination. So similarly, but when this inclination is genuine seva, then Bhagwan becomes one with the image of the mind. By which principle, dear devotees? Atidesh. Don't forget this word. By which principle? Atidesh. What is Atidesh? The entire characteristics of one individual or one entity are completely copied to another entity. This principle is known as what? Atidesh. And then your remembrance becomes genuine smaran and you make genuine advancement on the path of bhakti. Alright? Thank you very much, dear devotees. Yadatra skalitam kinchit vidvam saha purayantu tat. Yadatra saushthavam kinchit tad guroreva me nahi. Yadatra skalitam kinchit. I might have made a mistake, dear devotees. But if I made a mistake, vidvam saha, you are learned devotees, purayantu tat. Please correct any mistakes. But yadatra saushthavam kinchit. If there is anything nice, please remember, Tad Guru Oreva. It belongs to my Gurujanas. All the quotes were from my Gurujanas. None of this was made by me. Me nahi. It doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Hare Krishna. So, I don't know how much time we have for Q&A. We can have? Okay. Yes, Prabhu is there first. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. You said that early morning get up and say Krishna Krishna. But Prabhu has taught us to chant Hare Krishna mantra. How you relate with this?
Okay, wonderful. So I specified in Prabhupada's own words. Na? Prabhu, you only read. You read, Prabhuji?
I don't know, because in ISKCON, what we are taught.
This is ISKCON, bro. This is not our.
I know, I agree with that one. Because the whole training, even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also saying, chant Hare Krishna mantra.
Acha.
As a mantra, but really say like that, So what is the difference and what?
Acha. Wait. See, you are saying in ISKCON we were given training like that.
Yes.
When I first gave this lecture, there were more than 10 Prabhupada disciples sitting. Big risk. I am more than 10 Prabhupada disciples sitting in the audience. And they said, actually, we were taught by Prabhupada like this, how to do deity worship, how to get up and chant in the early morning. Prabhupada first taught us that you should wake up and do Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. Hai. Somehow, this was not passed on very much to the other devotees so much. It is part of initial training. And this is, if it is given in the purport, I have not made up the purport, you can verify. So this is part.
Clearly saying immediately chant Hare Krishna mantra or at least.
Krishna Krishna.
He is saying Hare Krishna mantra or at least. If you cannot, so the priority is Hare Krishna mantra.
No. If we do priority, I will tell you one thing. If we give priority is, as I said, Swavasana Anusarena. I hope you are able to understand. In the domain of bhakti, we can't say that Hare Krishna is greater than Krishna Krishna. Once we say that, we are getting into a troublesome zone. Why? Because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself said, and I am Madhya Lila 7.96. Dear devotees, I am sharing my screen. Please sing with me, dear devotees. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's own words. Krishna, 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 Hare. Krishna, 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 Krishna. Okay, wonderful, dear devotees. So this is Mahaprabhu's own word. Prabhupada himself has given. And this is ISKCON as it can get. But Srila Prabhupada may have his priority that you chant Hare Krishna. If you favor that, wonderful, you do that. Wonderful, no problem. But the main point of the slide is not Krishna Krishna or Hare Krishna. The main point of the slide is Smaran. You can have your priority, you can say, Hare Krishna.
But see, when we are getting initiated, we are told to chant Hare Krishna mantra, not this type of mantras.
Yeah.
That is the confusion now.
Yeah. Because that is for your japa. Japa is a separate limb. You are told Hare Krishna mantra for japa, or you are initiated in Hare Krishna mantra for early morning smaran. You are initiated in Hare Krishna Mahamantra for japa. Japa is a separate limb. So only in the domain of japa, you get to chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra. But in domain of smaran, it is, Prabhupada gives both choices. And what Prabhupada is giving as it is, I am telling you. Actually, Hari Bhakti Vilas doesn't give Hare Krishna. Hari Bhakti Vilas just says Krishna Krishna iti kirtan. Hari Bhakti Vilas gives preference to Krishna Krishna. But Srila Prabhupada gave Hare Krishna Mahamantra also. It is very flexible. Swavasana Anusaran. Because that is not the domain of japa. That is the domain of early morning smaran.
So, my confusion is that is it a deviation of Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya? Because in Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, to my knowledge, it is always Hare Krishna mantra, not any other mantras, like
No.
Krishna.
Actually,
This is the confusion I have in my mind.
It is a deviation to think that the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya only gives Hare Krishna mantra. That is the deviation.
Because this is the first time I am hearing about this.
Wonderful. When I am saying, I am giving praman.
Okay.
Without praman, I will not speak anything. Let me give praman. Because there is no proving anything without giving praman. Dear devotees, this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, most important verse from the Bhagavatam. Dear devotees, according to Mahaprabhu. Evam vratah sva priyanama kirtya jatanurago drutachitta uchay asatya dhoro didirauti gayat Vyunmadavan rityati lokabaya. The original Sanskrit is Swapriyanam. Now, anybody who knows Hindi can translate what is Swapriyanam, dear devotees. Your name which is dear to you. Let's look in the synonyms. Ishwar Gaurang Prabhu, what is the translation for Swapriyanam?
Swa, on, Priya, very dear, and the Naam, holy name.
Arre vah. This is as Gaudiya Vaishnava as it can get. So actually it is, the deviation is to think that only Hare Krishna Mahamantra is there. For Kirtan it is Swapriyanam. For Japa it may be a mantra given by the Guru. But for Kirtan it is Swapriyanam. And therefore Mahaprabhu also, early morning, he would go ahead and perform various types of Kirtan. Hari Haraya Namah Krishna Yadavaya Namah Yadava. Hey, stop, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, only Hare Krishna Mahamantra, otherwise you are deviating. No. That is Kirtan. It is not Japa. For Japa you give specific mantra. For Kirtan, Vibhavari Shesha Aloka Pravesha Nidra Chadi Utho. Nidra Chadi, wake up in the morning and Bolo Hari. Hare nahi, Hare Krishna. Nahi. Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva Narsimha Vamana Sri Madhusudana Prajendra Nandana Shyama Putana Ghatana Kaitava Shatana Jaya Dasharathi Rama. That is the free flow of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. That is Mahaprabhu Krishna Nam Akari Bahudha Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpita Niyamitah Smarane Nakalaha. Nam, plural case, not Namnaha, singular case. Nam, in all the various names. Akari Bahuda, Sarva Shaktis. He gave equal potency in Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Hai, and Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And Niyamitah Smarane Nakala. He did not give any specific rules for remembering them. If he would have given specific rules, then he is going against his own statement in the second verse of the Shikshashtakam, that there are no specific rules and regulations for chanting the holy name of Bhagavan. So this is pristine Siddhanta of Gaudiya Vaishnavism.
And the only doubt is that is Hare Krishna mantra is a Maha mantra. It is superior to all mantras. It is all in all the mantras says. So you get more benefit by chanting Hare Krishna mantra.
Okay, I will. So you are correct. Hare Krishna Mahamantra is great mantra. You get more benefit by chanting. But should I tell you one small secret? You will get more benefit by chanting Swapriyanam because it is Sasanga. It is with attachment. But if you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra with deep attachment, you will get unlimited benefit. No doubt about this. But you chant names of Krishna, any name of Krishna with genuine attachment, you will get unlimited benefit. Because is Bhagwan looking for, is he chanting a specific name, or is Bhagwan looking for, is he chanting my name with prema? What is Bhagwan looking for? Prema. But this is Hare Krishna Mahamantra is a great mantra. Therefore, that mantra is given separately for japa. How many rounds, dear devotees? 16. But after you have done your 16 rounds of japa, you should have freedom to chant Swapriyanam. So Swapriyanam does not erase Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and Hare Krishna Mahamantra does not erase Swapriyanam. They are both mutually existing together with each other.
That can be understood.
Yeah, wonderful. Nobody is saying that on the strength of Krishna Krishna, you stop chanting your 16 rounds of japa. That is not being said. Swapriyanam doesn't erase the necessity of japa. But please mind it, japa does not erase the supreme necessity of Swapriyanam, which is very important.
But the preliminary process has been advised to us is to chant Hare Krishna mantra. That is why I am not saying that you should not chant any other mantra. That is not my meaning. But the primary focus is chant Hare Krishna mantra. That is what we have been trained.
Okay,
that is what the point I was bringing. All Krishna's names are power in all millions of names.
I don't think there is any disagreement here. I don't think there is any disagreement here. What you are saying is the English translation of the training you are given. I will give you the Sanskrit. Tara Madhya Sarva Shrestha Nama Sankirtana. Original Bengali says the greatest process is Nam Sankirtan. When Prabhupada translated it, he said, and amongst all the process, the greatest is to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. He gave the translation. So Prabhupada gave a slightly detailed understanding of this. But tradition also I have shown you. The tradition is all the names of Krishna you can freely chant, and Hare Krishna Mahamantra occupies a special position amongst all the names. Therefore, it is given in 16 rounds in japa. I don't think there is any incompatibility between these understandings. Okay.
Swapriyanam also includes like Radha Nam.
All names of Bhagwan and Bhagavad Shakti. In the name Krishna also Shakti Tattva is present. In the name Krishna also Shakti Tattva is present. Without Shakti Tattva, without Hladini Shakti's mercy, even that name of Krishna will not descend on our senses. The preference of the Gaudiya Vaishnava is to chant Shri Radha's name with Shri Krishna's name. That even in name we keep both of them together. That is the preference of the Gaudiya Vaishnava. Therefore, Hare Krishna. There are other sampradayas where independently the name of Shri Radha is chanted. We respect all the sampradaya. There is no disrespect towards anybody. But we follow the mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that you also, even in Naam, put Shri Radha Krishna together. So that is how it is understood. Okay. Now somebody may, while chanting Shri Radha, they may think of the term Shri as Krishna. They already put Krishna there. Alright, I hope you are able to understand. It's upon the mindset of the person who chants. But Mahaprabhu always said that if you love me, you always put whose name? Whose name should be there? Krishna's name should be there along with the name. Where did he say? So, यदि आमा प्रति स्नेह थाके सवाकार तबे कृष्ण व्यतिरिक्त ना गाइबे आर. So if you have any affection for me, and he's speaking in the mode of Shri Radha, if you have any affection for me, Shri Radha says, then which name should you sing? Shri Krishna. Because we may utter the name of Shri Radha, but Gaudiya Vaishnava mode is to give service to Shri Radha. And whose name does Shri Radha love to hear? So Krishna Nam. This is Gaudiya Vaishnava mode. Other mode in other sampradaya is very respected. Nothing against any other mode. They have their understanding. But it is also my duty to give the mode of Mahaprabhu here. Mahaprabhu's mode is that Shri Radha likes to hear whose name? Krishna Nam. So that is recommendation. Alright, I am not forcing anything. Because in the lecture I said you cannot force, it is according to Swavasana. Or I cannot go against my own lecture. So therefore, recommendation is there. Okay, so please take as recommendation. Yes. Anybody else wants to? Yeah, Mataji, and then we'll come to Prabhu. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you very much for this wonderful session, for covering the most subtle information like the principle of Atidesha.
Oh, wonderful.
Always there was a doubt on this for me too, how to understand that the deity in the temple is none other than Krishna. Well, if I'm understanding right, when you said the copy of Krishna's into the deity, it is like, are you telling the superimposing of spiritual energy onto the material energy?
It is not superimposing. In order to superimpose, the existing entity should have something. The existing entity, the idol is made out of stone, so nothing can be superimposed. It descends. I hope you are able to understand. It descends. A complete copy of Krishna's qualities happens within. It descends on the idol that you have made. And once after Prana Pratishtha, you lovingly out of a mood of seva you have invited Bhagwan. Then, because all the qualities of Bhagwan have descended on that particular form you have carved, from that time onwards you start calling it Shri Vigraha. And what is Shri Vigraha? It is non-different from Krishna. Why? How has it become non-different from Krishna? By which principle? Atidesh. Because you see, even in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, before Pran Pratishtha, they don't worship the deity. Before Pran Pratishtha, worship begins before Pran Pratishtha or after Pran Pratishtha?
After.
What is so special in Pran Pratishtha that worship begins after Pran Pratishtha? But what special thing happens in Pran Pratishtha? One word. What happens? Atidesh. How does Atidesh happen? Because lovingly the devotee has invited. Bhagwan sees the seva unmukhe. He sees devotees inclined to seva, so he appears on the deity.
So is this the reason why even any small devotee you bring to home, you don't directly worship, you take it to the temple and get it?
You take to the senior Vaishnavas,
senior
Guru Janas.
Okay.
The Guru Janas are our seniors. They understand our mood. They explain to us how to worship the deity, how to have a proper mood of seva, and then they invoke Bhagwan. Bhagwan, please descend with all your qualities within this deity, and then once Bhagwan descends, that process is called as Atidesh. Then you start worshipping. Alright? Okay,
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Okay, Prabhuji, here. Yes, yourself. Yeah.
Thank you, Prabhu. So, two questions. The first one being on this principle of Atidesh. Let's take Vrindavan Dham or any other Dham, and people worship like Govardhan Shila or other Shalagram Shila perhaps. But these were...
yeah, you can keep it away. I can hear. Okay.
So, the Atidesha, is this Krishna's unlimited mercy to just descend in his pastime, and that's what is causing it? Or is there any maintenance of that mood by the devotees present day? Not just in the Dham, but let's say someone receives Govardhan Shila and is worshipping. We understand Krishna's here, Govardhan's here, but let's say someone does not have that seva unmukha, so then we are sometimes told, well then the deity is not there for you, you didn't do the service. In the mind that could be true, but the deity, even a deity that did receive the Pran Pratishtha, I mean Krishna is now there, so just that's the first question.
So the first question is for Govardhan Shila, Shaligram. See, Govardhan Shila and Shaligram don't require Pran Pratishtha, because Shaligram and Govardhan, they are not products of this material world. Govardhan is directly Bhagwan's associate, and Shaligrams are constantly being generated. They are in that one river, and that Shaligram, according to Shastra, doesn't require any special Prana Pratishtha. It is directly considered as non-different from Bhagwan. So the only difference between Govardhan, Shaligram and other stone is that other stone requires Prana Pratishtha, whereas Govardhan and Shaligram don't require any Prana Pratishtha. Well, that is not the main question. The main question is somebody receives Govardhan Shaligram or somebody has a deity, but they don't have the specific mood of dealing with the deity. So what in those cases? In those cases, because the relationship is not there between deity and that particular individual. So that devotee is not specialized in Archanam or doesn't have that expertise in Archanam. And if the devotee doesn't have that expertise in Archanam, then they should tell their Guru that I am not able to relate to this seva of Archanam. And the Guru may say, Acha, seva is of many types. Ek anga, you can perform any other limb of bhakti you can perform. If any other limb of bhakti you can perform, then you relate to Bhagavan through that limb of bhakti. And maybe this seva of this deity worship, you give to some devotee who is eligible and who wishes to receive the deity. In that way, the seva is also not interrupted. And in that way, you can also perform your choicest seva amongst the 9 limbs of bhakti. But it requires a guru to be able to understand your situation like that. And then the guru can accordingly give directions. There is no problem in transferring the seva of the deity to another Vaishnava if it is done respectfully. Better than not serving properly is to give to somebody who can serve properly. That's all. But at least if Archanam is not our speciality, then at least another limb should be our speciality. That's all that is expected. So I hope that answer satisfies your query. Okay.
Yes. My follow-up question is on Seva Unmukha and how to develop that. I'm sure that's a lengthy topic. If there's any overarching principles.
Yeah. So question is Seva Unmukha, how to develop that Seva Unmukha. So the tendency to render seva to Bhagwan, the tendency to render bhakti to Bhagwan, the tendency to give unconditional benefit to Bhagwan without expecting anything. As I said yesterday, sasang bhajan, bhajan with asakti. That principle is such, the more we try to develop it on our own strength, we may realize that it is not happening by our own strength. Usually even this attachment to Bhagwan is gifted by associating with a person who already has that attachment. That is what is the recommendation of the previous acharyas. That in association with a person who already has that attachment, you develop that attachment towards Bhagwan. Because that attachment is not a product of material nature. It cannot be generated by movement of material senses. It is gifted by Bhagwan directly or by an existing devotee. That's the reason why one receives that mood from the Guru. One is supposed to receive that mood from the Guru. That the affection that Guru has within their heart, that same of the disciple observes and stays with the Guru. And then the disciple also, a small part of that rubs on the heart of the disciple. That's why it is a living process, that you get it from the Guru. And I will tell you one thing, see, I'm just giving a very material example. Because sometimes material examples help us understand these things. You can, and this is a very crude example, Srila Prabhupada also gives this example in Teachings of Queen Kunti. You can go to a university in order to learn how to become a drunkard. There are courses in the university which teach you how to brewery. There is a science of brewery in the university. But what is the best way of becoming a drunkard? Do you want to see the quote by Srila Prabhu? I'll show you. Prabhu, read loudly.
Yes, the thing is that if you want to become a drunkard, you mix with the people who drinks. Then you drink little. And then you become a big drunkard.
All right, that's it. That's a very easy process. Explained in understandable terms by Srila Prabhupada. Why do acharyas give material examples? The reason why acharyas give material analogy, what is the meaning of an analogy? An analogy is something which you can directly perceive and then you can transfer that understanding into something you can't perceive. That's what is the function of an analogy. So, what we perceive in the perceivable world, we see you want to become a drunkard. How do you become a drunkard? By going to university or by associating with a drunkard? You can study 10,000 books on how to become a drunkard, but that won't do the justice. Actual thing is you sit with a drunkard and you throw a drink and they will tell you many stories from there. Hare Prabhu. No, sorry, not Prabhu. You know what happened with me.
There was a girl.
See, he's already Rasik, he's halfway there. So it's wonderful. So I hope you are able to understand. This is how it works, Prabhu. It's a very personal process. Somebody's heart has to touch our heart. It cannot be produced in a heart which has not been touched by the heart of a devotee who has this. It cannot be produced like this. This is how. And it's a very personal thing. It should not be told. See, what I am telling you here is actually, it should be told privately. But you asked here, so I am telling you. Because if I know that when I say these things, there are some individuals who don't like it. Where will we go and find such a devotee? It should happen automatically for me. I know it's an uncomfortable truth, isn't it? But nonetheless, it is the truth. So it has to be spoken. Bhakti is a living process. It descends from the heart of a devotee into our hearts. It cannot be produced by our own efforts. I will quote one last verse and then we will pause for today. Okay?
Just one question related to this. So when we say transform from heart to heart, does it mean that when we associate with some advanced devotees, by looking at them we inspire and then by that inspiration we get that in the heart, or they pray for us and then
No. You hear from them. And you hear from them, bhavo hi bhava karanam. One thing you will notice, the mood of a speaker permeates in the audience. Even when you give a lecture. Let's say if today I had to give a talk and in the morning I have had a big fight at home when I am sitting in the class. And material nature is very bad. So my mood permeates into the audience. So when the speaker is, or when the guru is a devotee of that caliber, when they speak, the mood of the speaker permeates into the heart of the audience and the receptive audience who are like-minded to the guru. Like a sponge you can absorb. Like a sponge you can absorb from some person. It depends on how like-minded. Sometimes you are so like-minded to a person, even before they say something, you understand what this person is going to say. It depends on how like-minded you are to that person, isn't it? So, once you develop that like-minded, and that it happens only when Bhagavan is merciful enough to send such a devotee in your life. Such a devotee arrives in your life. That is the arising of good fortune.
Does it apply for online classes in Sangha also? Or?
See, like-mindedness, you can be very far away also. There is a verse in Sanskrit which says, the cloud is in the sky, dark cloud, and the peacock is on the ground. But when peacock sees the dark cloud, peacock becomes very happy. The sun is in the sky, but its friend, the lotus, is 100 million miles away. But when the lotus sees the sun, it becomes happy. The lily is in the sky, in the waters, and its friend moon is even further away, according to the Bhagavatam. But the lily becomes happy on seeing the moon. What is the conclusion? Yo yasya mitram nahi tasya duram. Jo jiska dost hota hai usse dur nahi hoti. One who is like-minded is never far away from you.
Sorry.
No problem. It's wonderful.
Does that mean that when we associate with advanced devotees, like for example we are hearing from Srila Prabhupada or our Guru Maharaj or other senior devotees, we joining live online classes with them, is it like equal to having the...
Very wonderful question. Is hearing online classes equal to direct association? I'll tell you one thing. See, there are first generation disciples of Srila Prabhupada who met Prabhupada in person. And we are second generation who never met him in person. We just listened online his lectures. When you first meet a person directly and that relationship develops, and then later you hear them online, that's a completely different experience than when you have just heard somebody online but you have never met them in person.
Or render some service.
Why? Because a sadhu should not be restricted only to 2-hour lecture given in front of the camera. When you meet them in person, you come to know who they are in their life, who they are as an individual. How do they go about living their day-to-day life? And you get to know the entire persona of the sadhu. And you get to know how he remembers Krishna in simple things. And then he relates personally to you. And then in personal association, he gives you personal solutions for your personal problems, which may not happen in a Zoom lecture. You may get a lot of benefit in a Zoom lecture. I don't doubt that. But if you have first met that person in person, and you have a relationship with that person, that makes an entire world of difference. That makes an entire world of difference. Isn't it? Yeah? So, it's only by Bhagwan's mercy, not by self-effort. Many times I have said, not by self-effort, that you will achieve this. Bhagwan has to send. Athapi te deva padambujadvaya prasad leshanugrahita evahi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno na chanya ekopi chiram vichinvan. Athapite, Brahmaji say, Athapite Dev, O Dev Shri Krishna, Padambuja Dvaya, your two lotus feet, Prasad, the mercy of that, Lesh, even fraction of that mercy of your lotus feet, Anugrihit, if somebody becomes blessed, Evahi, only that person, Janati Tattvam, he will realize. Bhagavan Mahimno, only he will realize your Mahima. Na cha anya ekopi, nobody else will realize. Chiram vichinvan, even for long time if they are researching by reading Shastra, they will not realize. Na cha anya ekopi chiram vichinvan. They will spend their entire life in their reading and studying. They will not realize unless they are blessed by you. And how are they blessed? You send somebody who is your own. Mukunda Preshtha. Who is your own person, Bhagavan, you send to that person's life. Then somebody can understand. Here is the translation. Please read, Prabhuji.
My Lord, if one is favored by even a slight trace of the mercy of your lotus feet, he can understand the greatness of your personality. But those who speculate to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead are unable to know you, even though they continue to study the Vedas for many years.
You may study the books for thousands of years. Any book you may study for thousands of, by any author. But unless this happens, you will not get. It's very important that Bhagavan sends his representative. And only then it happens. And when that representative comes, your spiritual life is revolutionized. You feel this was the answer to my prayers. And that's it. Wonderful verse. This verse is the, what should I say? This verse is not sufficiently emphasized. Okay, so.
I have one more question.
Oh, wonderful. Sure.
Yeah, you said about Savasana. I'm talking about that topic.
Savasana.
So you said that.
Actually, Shri Rup Goswami said.
Yeah, no, I'm just coming my point.
I am not the author of Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu.
Whatever is it.
Okay.
So people are like to do whatever according to their vasana. So I want to clarify that. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sishtashtraka, he says, Chadoda Pranamarjanam. This Hare Krishna mantra is for cleaning the heart. For example, if somebody is a killer or a thief, whatever is it, whoever come in association with it, it's so clean. So the vasana is changing or not. Even Dhruva Maharaj went for something, and when he got blessed by the Lord, his vasana. So is the vasana is changing or something else is changing? What is happening there? What is this purification and what is the relation with the vasana?
Okay.
That's my question.
See, Prabhu, the vasana that you are specifying is a material impression. Okay? And when Sri Rupa Goswami says Swa Vasana, he is not talking about material impressions. The term Vasana has two meanings. First meaning of Vasana are the negative impressions in the material impressions in the mind since many previous lifetimes. That is cleansed by Chetodarpana Marjanam. 100% I agree. But when Sri Rupa Goswami says Svavasana, what he is saying is according to the devotional inclinations you have cultivated in the past, not according to the material inclinations you have cultivated in the past. So the term Svavasana, when Sri Rupa Goswami is using it, it refers to the devotional inclinations of the past. It doesn't refer to material contamination from the past. So that is the answer to your query. Okay, thank you so much. One last question. Okay. Acha, yesterday also he didn't get. Hare Prabhu, I am very sorry. I don't think I am neglecting you,
Actually, part of my
there is one reason why I quote that verse always in the Yadatras Khalitam Kinjit. I know I am having all the defects. So don't see, I am just an ordinary person full of all the defects. I make many mistakes.
No.
If you don't believe, you ask my wife. She will tell you everything. Let's ask. Bolo.
No, Prabhu. I mean, part of my question was answered, so that's why. So I was thinking, I was trying to interrupt it. At the end, the Sevon Mukhe, right? So Sevon Mukhe, does it also mean that Krishna, let's say we offer food to Krishna, and then we take prasadam. So the descendants, Krishna has descended there, but he can also choose to undescend himself because based on the attitude of the devotee, like if she's not accepting prasad as seva.
See Prabhu, once Krishna decides I want to descend, Krishna is not fickle-minded. And I said, Krishna decides I descend, he will descend. I give simple example. Jagannath Puri Mahaprasad. Bhagwan descends on that Mahaprasad. Now some people come to Anand Bajar with n number of mindsets. The Bhagwan is acha, this person, for him I will uninstall myself. Once he descends because of his seva of one individual who was cooking and offering. But the result of that offering may be consumed by somebody else. And very simple example, it may be consumed by a bird or an animal who have no conception of seva. We have to think about this. He may be consumed by bird. That's how bhakti progresses. Agyat Sukriti. What is Agyat Sukriti? If Bhagwan starts applying this hard criteria, I will uninstall myself because this person doesn't have seva on mukha. When the person who offered it had seva vritti, tendency for seva, Bhagwan descended. Now that prasad was given to bird animal. Now bird animal has no seva vritti, nothing. But still, this is how bhakti is achieved by the agency of the devotee. I hope you are able to understand. Bhakti is achieved by the agency of the devotee. Otherwise, it will become so difficult for bhakti to descend in our lives. So, ठीक है. The one last query from Prabhuji. Yes.
Thank you, Prabhu. You coming here is the manifestation of our prayers, and you quoting this verse is like a proof of that.
No. What wrong prayers were you? ऐसा थोड़ा अच्छा prayer किया करो.
So Prabhu, question I have is remembering Krishna first thing in the morning in context of na tatha me priyatama na atmayoni na sankara. Srimad Bhagavatam 11.14-15, right?
Sure.
How to reconcile both? Where he's saying I like my devotees more than myself. So now is it more pleasing to him if I follow that or Krishna name himself?
Hare Prabhu, in the verse from Hari Bhakti Vilas, was it Krishna's remembrance first or Guru's remembrance first? See, most of us forgot. So I remind once again, dear devotees, chalo. Dear devotees, here is what Sri Sanatan Goswami said. Prabhu, you can read the translation loudly.
After waking in Brahma Murta and performing kirtan of Krishna Nam, Krishna, then desiring the highest purification, one should meditate on the 2 feet of Guru.
Wonderful.
Then after glorifying Krishna, one should perform smaran, remembrance of Krishna, and then utter various glorifications of Krishna from Shastra.
So, pahila whose meditation? Guru's. Now everything is okay?
Yes.
Wonderful. See, Sanatan Goswami knew 500 years later somebody will ask the question. So he already put the answer there. ठीक है, चलो, everybody is happy. Prasade sarva dukkhanam hani rasya pacha. If any other unhappiness is remaining, there is always prasad. काम खत्म हो गया इस समय ना चलो अभी इधर ही खत्म करते हैं. Okay, thank you so much dear devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, just in one line, what we are going to cover today evening?
Today evening we'll go into actual smaran.
Wonderful.
Some thoda detailed smaran. I hope you are able to understand. Can I just give one basic? Do Krishna Krishna Krishna. Thoda I can give everybody do basic every day, no problem, because Prabhupada has said that. But then we'll also go a little deeper, and then we should have some taste of the other side also. So I'll be just stretching it to that direction, and we'll go deeper and see what the previous acharyas were recommending. Actual live examples of Smaran and how it affects your heart, how it affects your mind. So please come, it's a live session. You can't just sit at home and watch on Zoom. Please come for a live experience. So that's very important. All right. So
thank you so much, Prabhu. I just don't have words to express my thanks. And I'm sure we have recording, and I'm going to see it a couple of times, and I'm sure most of us will see it a couple of times to digest what a concentrated, wonderful lecture. Thank you so much. And very important, so today evening class start at 6:30. So I request everyone just be here before 7, because right sharp at 7 we will start the class. Today time was 10:30 and it was very late, almost 11:15, 11:20 we were able to start. So my request to everyone, just have Parshad, go home, sleep, whatever, but just be there before 7, because right at 7 we will start the class today evening. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
महाप्रसादे गोविंदे नाम ब्राह्मणे वैष्णवे स्वल्पपुण्यावतं राजन् विश्वासो नैव जायते शरीरार् विद्याजाल जोड़ेन्द्रियाग्राहेका जीवे फैले विषय सागरे तार मध्ये जीवायति लोभो मोयो सुदुर्मति ताके चेता कठिन संसारे कृष्ण बड़ा दोयो वाय कारी बारी जिह्वा जाय स्वप्रसादन दिलो बाय सैयन्नामृता पाओ श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गुण गाओ प्रेमेड़ा को श्री चैतन्य निताय जय निमाय जय निताय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. प्रसादम की जय.
राम राम हरे Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. little louder. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, one more time with your heart. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo, bolo, everybody. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Everybody, real loud, please.
Krishna Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.